you want to start a business, get out of the office, achieve happiness and success while crushing life? This is Boss to Boss, the place to be for that extra motivation to get up and follow your dreams while learning from the ones who have already done it. And now for your host, Miro.
What is up? How you doing? How you feeling? Welcome to your one-stop shop for all the tips and recipes you'll ever need to take control of your life and finally become boss. Today's guest is Justyna Kedra. Justyna is an entrepreneur and a best-selling author. She's a public speaker, mentor, and founder and CEO of We Rule, a global community of female entrepreneurs, mentors, and investors connecting founders from 30 countries. She also recently has been recognized as the youngest 2018 Champion of Change at the United Nations. Justyna, pleasure to have you on.
Hey, how are you? Excited to be here.
I'm doing well. I'm really pumped to have this thing going. We finally were able to connect after numerous attempts and trials and errors and everything.
Yes. A lot of those, but it's okay. You can't fail. You have to fail to succeed.
Exactly. And people don't even know. We did an interview before, like half a year ago, maybe, right? And
yeah, maybe just a few months ago. Maybe it was half a year already. Oh gosh.
You know what? I think so. Time's flown by.
Oof.
We did one, and something was off with the recording back when we did it, and the whole thing was just scrap. It was not, it was very devastating.
But we had a fun conversation.
Yes, we did. We caught up, so it was all worth it. So let's dive in and tell the listeners a little bit more about yourself. You definitely have a very, very compelling bio, but what's a little bit more than what we don't know about you?
Yes, for sure. So something that people don't know about me is that I'm an immigrant. I came from Poland in 8th grade, and I came here without knowing any English, without knowing anyone, and I kind of had to build everything from scratch to get to where I am today. And yeah, when I was in Chicago, everyone else was going to a regular college and doing regular things. And I had a crazy idea to just move to New York City by myself. So that's exactly what I did. And I moved here and I went to Parsons. I studied their hardest fashion program. And then since then, I kind of just jumped around. I wanted to really explore what it means to be in different industries, had different jobs. So I went from the fashion industry to hospitality to financial services, working for American Express. So I really have a diverse background of different roles and different industries.
Yeah, you definitely do. And I remember you I moved to New York City too, while a lot of us were over here in Chicago, and we're like, oh, what's she doing? Where's she going? Do you think the whole move and just going to New York, maybe changing it up, or the fact that it's such a big city, that play an impact of you kind of being where you're at right now?
Yes, definitely. But one thing that I always tell everyone when they ask me about moving to New York is that I always felt I haven't even been to New York ever, even as a tourist. And I always had this feeling that was my home. I always knew that I'm just going to feel so good in the city. So the move wasn't even anything, crazy.
Is it something you picture? Because a lot of people, especially successful people, they imagine situations they're going to be in, and they practice them and replicate them in their head. Is that something you were doing with New York?
Oh, yes. And I do it all the time. And it always works. I was dreaming about New York. I didn't even know how I was going to survive here, what's going to happen. School, nothing. I was just okay, I'm moving, done. And I only applied to Parsons, by the way.
Do you want to tell us about another one of these dreams or something that you're constantly imagining?
Oh, so just recently, I just posted on social media, everyone who knows me knows that I want to live in this building, and Google it if you don't know about it. It's called 432 Park Avenue, right? It's on Billionaires Row. And ever since, even before they built it, actually, I had dreams about it. I'd always describe it to my friend. I was it's this tall, skinny building, and I live in there. And I had and I still do until today, have recurring dreams about living there. Right? Mm-hmm. So they built this building, and I'm oh my God, this is crazy. This is the building I've been dreaming about. So I was I need to go further. So I literally, like, I'm telling everyone for the past, like, 2 years, 432 Park, everybody, I was like, I'm going to live there. Thank you. And all of a sudden, all these people start coming into my life randomly that, for example, are like real estate agents that sell apartments there. Like, I literally met like this one lady, Carolina. I was meditating once, envisioning this apartment, and then she was like, she butt dialed me. And then I texted her, I was like, hey, and I was like, I'm thinking about the apartment. And then I started meeting all these people from like $1 Million Listings recently who also like do filming, who film there, like who sell apartments there. So it literally happens all the time now. Everyone's like, oh, hey, I live in 432 Park. Oh, hey, this is the chairman of, of Douglas Elliman who lives there. It's so random, but it works. I believe it.
Hey, I know it's gonna work. I mean, I know that whatever you put your mind to, you'll make it happen. So I couldn't be more confident. But do you want to tell us a little bit, the listeners, more about We Rule that you run? What is that exactly?
Yeah, so We Will basically started as a blog because I was kind of jumping around all over industries, and I was like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur ever since I was a little girl. And I was like, how do I do it? I have no idea, but I know that I need to talk to other successful people who are doing it, right? So that's what I started doing. I started interviewing people on Instagram, asking them basically like what they love about their business, what doesn't work, what works, what made them successful, and learning from them. So in the first year, I just interviewed a bunch of people, and then it went from New York to the West Coast. It went globally. People wanted to contribute, collaborate. So in the past like 2.5 years, it really grew into like this global community of people who just like connect with each other, and then we connect them manually. So it literally just started as a blog, and now it's this like global platform, which is growing every single day.
Wow, that's awesome. So I take it you have a whole team now, right? Not just you anymore.
Yes, but I'm not. Yes. But for now, like I'm focusing on building an app for it, so we can do it with like AI, artificial intelligence, right? Data. So I'm really trying to see how we can connect people better, because my success comes from knowing the people that are in front of me and knowing how to connect them. So I want to like kind of replicate that into an app. So We Rule is kind of like on its own there, doing its thing. So I'm not like worrying about like, growing like the team for that, etc., until the app is built.
Got it. Yeah. No, sometimes you got to set some priorities and certain accomplishments that you need to make along the way. So do you know when was a moment that you realized, enough was enough? You're done with working, you did numerous other things earlier, the fashion, hospitality industries. When did you realize, enough was enough? You're tired of working for somebody else. You're tired of, whatever it was, that office desk, that cubicle. You were just done with it.
Oh, I always knew that. Like, I'm always the person that always says, like, oh, the corporate world, like, never, ever, ever. Like, I never imagined myself in my entire life, for example, like being a VP, being SVP, like being, climbing the corporate ladder. Like, that just sounded like so unnatural to me. So even though I went from like job to job, I always was looking for the way out, always, ever since I started. Even when I graduated college, I was like, how do I get out of this immediately? So I always knew that. And like, this already, but like when I was a little girl, I was super fascinated with, for example, like Gabrielle Chanel. She's a fashion designer. Yeah. And I always thought that she was so badass, and she kind of like went against like everyone and started her own business. So I always had it in me.
Did you have a plan as to what you were going to do? Or did it take, doing these other side jobs, and other jobs beforehand to kind of realize what you exactly wanted to do?
Oh, yes. It took a lot of reading, meeting people, and like really just going with it. Like, I feel like a lot of people focus a lot on having a plan and building that plan versus just doing. And that's kind of what I did by accident. I said, hey, I want to have a business in the future. I don't know if it's going to be in fashion. I don't know what it's going to be, if it's going to be in tech, but I want to do it. So let me start talking to people. So that's what I did. I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I backtrack. I kind of knew what I want my life to look like in the future, but I didn't know exactly 100% what the plan is going to be. So it's like, it has to be a good mixture of both, I think.
Okay, so you think that it's very important that we should definitely go for it, right? You think a lot of times you're going to just sit around and try to wait for the right moment?
Exactly. So like the right moment will never come. It's kind of like, I don't know what they call it like in the industry, but it's kind of like analysis paralysis or something.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of keep on planning and planning and planning and planning that you end up not doing anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And why do
Which
you
is not good either.
and why do you think that is though? Like why are we comfortable, with planning things out, and sometimes we go a long time with just planning. Why do you think?
Because I feel like doing is harder than planning because if you're planning, you're kind of like living in a la la land, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have this idea, oh my goodness, I'm going to build this great like financial company or whatever this is going to look like, and I'm going to have this many employees and this and that, and like you imagine your life. But then when you're nobody and you kind of like go after investors, you go after collaborators, everyone's gonna be like, nope, 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 nope. And then most people give up, they hear like 20 no's, they're like, oh, okay, fine. So I think doing is harder than planning. That's why.
Okay, that's very, very valid points you got there. I'm sure you made a mistake or two along the way, right? There had to be at least one.
Oh, yes.
Do you have
Oof.
Do you have a notable one you want to share? Something that you learned from that was crucial?
To business? Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's actually about people. So I am the kind of a person that I trust that people are like good, and I trust that people are going to give you 1,000%. And I also, at the same time, want them to succeed and like live to their like fullest potential, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is a huge lesson that I learned, that I had to learn how to basically not trust people 1,000,000% when I first meet them, when it comes to, team collaborators, whatever. Because then you kind of realize that not everyone is as passionate about living or whatever else as you are. So you kind of be like, oh, is this person like, telling the truth? Like, who are they really? So that's a huge lesson that I learned.
Did you get burned really badly? Like, is there something you can share?
Well, I don't want to name any names, but definitely when it comes to like building a team,
Mm-hmm.
you want to like talk to other people who've built teams before, because I was kind of too trusting, I was like, okay, this person is doing it. It's awesome. And then, months go by and you did like 1,000% of the work and they did 1% of the work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually very hard, something as a leader that you have to learn how to like build the right team, because you can't succeed on your own.
What would you do?
Yeah.
Okay, important that you bring that up, actually. You can't succeed on your own. I've been told numerous times myself, like, why didn't I go at it alone, and start up a company all by myself and not really, have anybody else or have any other people along the way? Why do you say that? Why do you think it's important to have other people?
Well, my point is, you're right. I think you can be a single founder, but I'm saying to grow the company, you can't just, have like 500 clients and do it on your own. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yes, you can be the sole leader and then you can succeed and just build a team. But to have a partner, like, you have to really, think that through and then think again and then one more time.
No, I definitely agree. I think it's crucial to growth. And that was a perfect way to put it. Like, you could start a company alone. Just in order to grow it, you do need, some other people. You need a few people. You need some people that do what they do best. And sometimes we think we could do it all, though we realize that will quickly lead to burnouts, or as you
Exactly. And then you just won't grow. But at the end of the day, you have to realize, and that's something that I've been hearing over and over, and I'm realizing as well, that like, you have to surround yourself with smarter people than you. Like, could I learn right now how to code an app? Oh yeah, I probably could. It would take me a while, but why would I? Like, can get someone to do it. There's like other roles within the company that you can just trust someone else to do it because they do it best. Like, am I going to be an accountant? No. Nope. Do I want an accountant? Yes. So you just have to learn how to trust other people, and then it's hard to find the people that you can trust. But
yeah, everything over time, right?
Exactly.
Do you think that being a female in this kind of just in the business world and running your own business now, you think that had some advantages or disadvantages? Like, do you think it made things different?
You know what? Me, honestly, like I don't think so because every single time I personally go in front of someone,
Mhm.
I never had someone tell me like, "Oh, you're a woman" or this or that. Like, I know you keep hearing stories about that,
Yeah.
but I honestly never had like an experience like that where someone kind of like put me down because I was a woman, honestly. But
Okay.
In Silicon Valley, I know it's
Yeah.
hard. it's
No.
it's hard out there. Women only get like what, like less than 3% of venture capital in
Hmm.
America.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I'm sure there's some disconnect there.
So what do you think?
Yeah.
You think there's something we can do to change that? You think that like there's some change has to be made in the business community?
Yes, I what I'm realizing right now, it's not that like VCs don't want to give money to women or
Hmm.
whatever else ideas are floating out there. I think it's because that majority of female businesses are service based. They're like marketing, branding. Like if you just read stats online, like that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I think we have to push women and girls to think, with more ambition and to go for like, that healthcare startup, to go after SpaceX or something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I think we have to kind of like re-engineer the way women think about themselves and the way like the opportunities that they go after.
And since you're a big proponent of this, you do a lot of women entrepreneurial things, and do
Hmm.
you feel that where do you think the roots of all this? Where does it stem? Like, where could the change be made?
I think it's a lot because like, for example, like if an investor is a white older guy, right?
Hmm.
Wonderful. But if you think about him as a human, right? He will only know what other white guys know. Like if you present him, for example, let's say like I don't know, like how would you say it? Hair care for like an African American woman, right? And it's a great product. Like it's selling like crazy, but you in front of this go for this white guy,
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like he's not going to understand what it is and he's not going to think it's a legitimate product or so like if you go and you say, oh, there's this like wearable technology for women and that does X, Y, and Z about like women's healthcare or something. I don't know. So the guys are not going to understand that. So I think the solution is not only kind of like telling women to think bigger, but also on the other side is bringing more like women VCs who can understand these issues and who can understand that it's like a legitimate business model or a legitimate product.
Hmm. Hmm. So it kind of
Yeah.
it's a little bit of everywhere, kind of, right? You gotta attack it.
Exactly. So it's a little bit tweaking everywhere. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
definitely a big proponent of that myself, and feel that over time things will improve for sure.
Hopefully. Stay tuned.
Yeah, no, you got to stay positive. Well, let's just say there's somebody now, sitting there at their cubicle, sitting there at work, at a corporation, at a firm, and they're debating, is this the right path for me? Do I want to go into, ownership? Do I want to start up a company? Do I want to take this crazy risk? What would you tell that person, whether if they're trying to decide if this is the right thing for them?
Start small and start talking to other people who are already doing it. That's what I would tell you. Like, if you want to start, let's say, a marketing agency, go talk to someone who started a marketing agency. Go talk to someone who used to have a marketing agency who failed. Ask them why they failed. Ask them what they loved about it. Ask them what was absolutely like the worst about it. Ask them like what you can do kind of like when it comes to pre-work, like can you start meeting clients before you even have the company. So I feel like you have to do a lot of research before you commit to like not having like a corporate quote unquote paycheck, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. I
Because
mean,
you want to know, like, let's say, you want to start like a honey company and you
mhm.
start a honey company and you're like, oh, wow, I hate honey and I hate everyone in the industry. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, then you'll
Yeah,
be right back where you started real quick.
exactly.
Yeah, unless you got like unlimited money and you could just try whatever you want. Unfortunately,
Yeah, that
not.
would be nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not the reality for most of us.
Yeah, well, for most of us.
Now on to our favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name because they're all taken.
All right, so for every single question for the speed round, you're gonna have exactly 5 seconds to answer.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so you gotta think quick. Sometimes the answer
Oh,
might not be ideal, but you gotta think quick. Otherwise, my producer comes down. I don't know what he does. He gives me a hard time. He says some things. I rather not have to deal with him. Okay.
Oh, is it graded?
So, all right, let's get to it. Your favorite book?
My favorite book would be Good to Great by, I don't remember who, Jim Collins, I think. It's awesome. Good to Great.
Okay, we'll let you off on that one.
Was it too long?
You're good. You're stranded on an island. What is the one item you want with you?
Cell phone.
Amazing answer.
Uh-oh.
Your
Uber chopper.
your greatest mentor, current or past?
Would be Elon Musk.
Is entrepreneurism a fad?
Yes, it is.
Is voice, specifically podcasts, the future?
Yes, I think so.
What is one item, food or drink, that makes you different from everybody else that you consume?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Coffee, buckets of coffee.
You got it out just in time. Okay, we'll let that one slide.
No, literally buckets of coffee. That's the answer.
No, I mean, everybody has their own thing, right? If that's what works for you, that's what makes you you. All right, well, yes. You survived. We're all good. But we do want you to elaborate a little bit. You said you said entrepreneurism is a fad, and you felt pretty strong about it. Why is that?
I feel that a lot of people right now are pressured in a way to become an entrepreneur, and not be an entrepreneur, I think, is okay. If you never thought that you wanted to have your own business and you're happy in a corporate job, I think that should not be shamed or, looked down on. Because I see a lot of people who are happy in corporate jobs trying to push themselves into starting a business, and that's just not right for them. Like, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. So there's this big craze about, everyone's starting businesses,
Yeah, I mean, you think it's just the word, maybe entrepreneurism, like that word, you think it's a little overused right now as well?
I think it is a little bit overused right now because everyone is just trying to be an entrepreneur and do something. And, I go to events and someone's really running a fashion blog. That's it. They're not doing anything else, and they're just starting, they're like, I'm an entrepreneur. But me, entrepreneur is you're starting a tech company. Are you doing something that's changing the world? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
so I feel
I agree.
Being an entrepreneur means something a little more than just running a blog, which a lot of people are calling themselves entrepreneurs right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, our grandmas, are the little 12-year-olds on YouTube. Everybody's an entrepreneur nowadays, I believe.
Exactly. See, if you think about it, for example, if Tim Ferriss was just doing the podcast and that's it, I wouldn't really call him an entrepreneur. I would call him a podcaster. But there are people out there who are just, let's say, running a podcast, and they're like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. Okay. So I think it's a little bit overhyped.
Yeah, I think the word can just be taken in so many different ways, and just the overall meaning of it is kind of going away right now because it really means anything.
Yep. True.
All right. Well, where could we find more of you? The listeners that are interested, they definitely want to hear more about you. Where could they check you out? What's the main website or social media tags that you use?
Yeah, so for We Rule, definitely you can go on our website. It's we-rule.com. I know the dash is annoying, but actually the person who's owning the actual website won't give it to us. Long story. But yeah, check out us on our website, we-rule.com. Good branding tip. Make sure to check your URLs.
No, definitely. I've actually heard, and it's something that I have a problem with my company, Hodgepodge, that if you get the name trademarked, that you can eventually get the website back, the main one that you need.
Yes.
So that's
true.
So that's something just, I'm sure you probably heard, but just
yeah. Good tip. Good tip. Yeah, because then they're using your you own it. Then
exactly.
They're using it. Exactly. Yeah. So, and then also me personally, I'm very active on Instagram. I don't really have time for Twitter. Maybe soon when I get an assistant. But on Instagram, it's my name, so JUSTYNA.NY.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Nice and easy to remember. All right, everybody.
Yep.
So there you go. You get we-rule.com. You can definitely find all the links to all her info and everything that's going on. And then as well as social media, we got Facebook, Instagram. That's Justyna, JUSTYNA.NY.
Yes, that's me.
And so we want to tell the listeners a little bit more about where we can find you next. What's next on the agenda?
What's next on my agenda? Well, I speak at a lot of events. So if you follow me, you can see what events I attend. And then I'm focusing right now on building the app. So hopefully that's going to be done by the end of the year. So stay tuned for that. I'm super excited.
And
we're currently in the process of building our MVP.
Do you know what the name will be of the app?
I know the name, but I won't share for now. Yeah. But it will definitely be connected to my work at WeRoll right now.
Okay. Yeah, no, I figured it's probably too early.
A little mystery.
Might be a little, yeah, no, it's good. You gotta have a little mystery behind it. All right, sure. Justyna. Well, yeah, everybody, make sure to follow her. Check her out at we-rule.com. All that good stuff. And you want to tell us a little bit more? Lastly, closing thoughts. What's happening with the United Nations? That was a big story that came out. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh yes, that was actually really cool. So I got nominated actually, but our mutual friend Monica, shout out to Monica. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that basically they chose under 20 people who were way older than me. Mm-hmm. And all the people that were chosen were kind of in some way promoting women in different issues, like whatever the issue could be with women and girls globally, like you could be nominated. So I got chosen, and it's just like you get invited, to events. We have an event coming up on May 10th. That's kind of like a fundraiser. Everyone's going to be recognized. No, but it's really awesome. I got to go to a lot of events at the United Nations already. I got invited to ring the bell for equality at NASDAQ. So that was really cool. But, just a lot of opportunities. And the people who work there are super, super nice and super helpful. So it's a good platform for WeRoll.
Awesome. I know people will find that very awesome. Something cool they can check out. And yeah, you could definitely see more info about that on your social media. And I didn't even know you got to ring the bell for NASDAQ. That's awesome. So congrats on that.
That was really awesome. They called me. They're there was a huge snowstorm in New York, and they're come, we're doing this. And I'm okay, fine. Yeah, so it was nice. It was a good experience.
Oh, you better have not been about to pass that up. I mean, no,
I know. I was snowstorm or not, I'm there.
No.
Let me know.
All right, good. Well,
yeah.
Justyna, it was a pleasure to have you on. Definitely, we'll be talking again soon.
Thank you for having me, of course. Thank you so much.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.